our neighbor. May death and destruction pass us by. Let fire and flood fill another's chamber. Storms strike from distant clouds, infernos rage, death amasses, blackness looms, discord ahead, betrayal like a sword blade flashes, when open wide the gates of oblivion.
Right, so if that's north, that means... Wait, that's not right! Oh, more was mercy! A little help, anyone? Are you from around here? Sorry, I'm not familiar with Gideon and... Wait, are you here because of my flyers? Thank Ruptka. Call me Yusara. I'm here on a thrilling, inspirational journey, and I could really use a sturdy companion. I'm an author. Aspiring, really. I've penned a few romance novels, but they all lack, what's the word? Authenticity, yes. So, I resolved to get out into the world and find my muse. Now, here's the exciting part. I found it in Castle Giaves. Yes, well, not exactly. A tragic affair played out there years ago, and love-struck spirits still haunt the castle. I acquired a magic lantern that allows me to speak to the ghosts. But you know, ghosts. I need you to ward off the angrier spirits. Thank you for agreeing to accompany me. With your help, my next romance novel will be a masterpiece. Here, take the lantern. Now, fair warning, I've never actually used it, but I heard a ghostly woman wanders the city gardens. We can test it there. Well, I can tell you it's alien in origin. It's, you know, it's quite lovely, and it lets you talk to ghosts. Oh, that's easy. You just sort of jiggle it, or something. Look, I'm an impulse buyer, but I'm certain it will work. The orc I bought it from is a very reputable dealer. The ghost won't be able to resist its glow. You'll see. Yes. Well, I fancy myself one at any rate. My novels receive mixed reviews, but romance is a tough genre, you know? All those stuffy critics want is highbrow, elf in a parlor broods over losing his father's fortune type stuff. What a snooze. Because I'm a romantic, you silly. I mean, sure, I've never been in a really serious relationship, but let's be honest, tales of people settling into stable marriages and living happy, fulfilling lives don't sell. People want passion, danger. Oh yes, maybe too much. Castle Giaves has a long, tragic history. You've read Carlo Townway's 2920 series, right? If not, you absolutely must. If I could write something half as satisfying, it would be a dream come true. Only the basics. My great-great-grandmother lived in Gideon for a time before immigrating back to Sentinel, and she brought back all kinds of stories. Some joyful, but most tragic. I just wish I could have met her before she passed to the far shores. Oh, you know, star-crossed lovers, murder, betrayal, that sort of thing. But like I said before, I'm done with those tired old cliches. I want facts. That's why we're going straight to the source. My great-great-grandmother may have embellished a bit. What storyteller doesn't? But every tale she told had some seed of truth to it. And after speaking to the people here in Gideon, I'm certain I'm onto something. You'll see. Just you wait. This is the place where people see the spirit. Go on and try out the lantern.
Who intrudes upon my grief? Gioves is lost. My son is lost. All that remains is sorrow.
Tava's feathers! I was right! All right, you talk, I'll take notes.
You can see me? It matters little. The miseries of Castle Gioves bind me here, bind all of us here. We are cursed. Our gardens wither, our once great walls crumble, and my gentle son feels nothing but heartache. I am Duchess Estella of Castle Gioves. As for the curse, it is the work of a vile trollop named Alizinda. Arche scorn her soul. My darling boy, Mathen was infatuated with her. And how did she repay his affection? By murdering him in cold blood. I cannot bear to speak of it any more. My poor Mathen. I sense his presence sometimes. He's bound to the place where he died. An old cottage northeast of Gioves. The place where he and Alizinda trysted. Help him. Help my son. Succeed where his mother failed.
It worked! I told you it would work! Tall Papa's breeches, what a tale! A ghostly duchess, lusty young nobles, betrayal and murder. This story's got it all. Whew. Is it getting hot out here or is it just me? Yes, tied to a cottage nearby. I can almost picture it. Rustic, secluded, tossel quilts, embers smoldering on the hearth. Gives me the prickles. Almost makes you forget someone likely died there. Something she said does trouble me a bit. The Duchess said the lover's name was Alizinda. That was my great-great-grandmother's name. It can't be a coincidence, can it? She lived in Gideon for a time before moving back to Alakir. Do you think my ancestor murdered Mathen?
I was nervous, thinking of trying.
I treat my...
Again? Look, I've got just as much right to stand here as anyone else. If those scantily clad Debellites want me to leave, you tell them to come out here and say it to my face. You're not one of their sanctified bullies? That's a relief. Call me Ferric. I came to Gideon to clear my family's name, but the loose-robed fanatics in the Dibalacium want to run me off. Started with dirty looks. Now I'm getting threats. They think my Grana Cerise murdered their high priest decades ago. It's not true, and I mean to set the record straight. Might take a little snooping around, but the evidence is here. I know it. Want to lend a hand? Don't have much, but I can pay. Thanks for the help. Not easy for Gemains to make friends around here. The Debellites use that manse in the center of town as their Dibalacium. Sort of a consecrated love nest. There's proof of Grana's innocence in Gideon, we'll find it there. Well, not exactly. For now I can say I have good reason to think there's more to the story. I'll know more once we look around their makeshift Temple of Dibella. And I'll feel much better about doing that having you with me. Bravo. Took an awful long time, what with the Three Banners War and all. But I made it, and I'm not leaving till I settle this once and for all. Might have happened yesterday for all these people care. Nobody holds a grudge like an Imperial. If your name is Gemain, you're lower than dirt in their eyes. I just had a son a couple years back, and he's already catching it on the chin. He's 2. An apology? I'm not that naive. I'm a carpenter by trade. I'll settle for people not hiding my tools and splitting my sawhorses 6 times a month. It's about respect. To oblivion with the rest. Like I said, the victim was one of the Debellites' high priests. A woman named Rolaine. This was 60 years ago, mind. But my grandfather tells me the locals worshipped the ground she walked on. Thought she was a prophet, or something near to it. My Grana Cerise was Rolaine's flower bearer. Followed her everywhere she went. When a heap of treasure went missing and Rolaine vanished, Grana was the prime suspect. No one could prove it, of course, since they never found her. Like wood smoke in a windstorm, and without breathing a word to my Grandpa Lier. Way Grandpa tells it, neither of them would so much as visit the Lou without telling the other where they were headed. But the locals wouldn't listen. These damned zealots rallied half the city, gathered up torches and shovels and ran him and my father out of town with nothing but the clothes on their backs. Even outside of Gideon, the rumors followed him. We haven't had a moment's peace since. So, this is the Divalosium. Just what I expected. Look at this place. These Debellites fancy themselves free-spirited bards blown by the wind. But they've got enough gold to make Zenithar blush. Doesn't matter. This is where we'll find our answers. I don't know yet. I just know we have to look. Take this. It's a rare bit of magic called a memory stone. Grana Cerise gave it to Grandpa Lier the night before she supposedly murdered Priestess Rolaine and fled. Maybe it'll show us something. Then you'll remember they hold their owner's memories inside them. I only learned about the stone's power a year ago, when a mage passed through Bravil and took an interest. He said memory stones only awaken in the place where the memory occurred. Aye, that's the hope. I know we face long odds on this. Magic stones and lost memories sound like storybook nonsense, but it's really all I've got to go on. How about we start our search on the ground floor? Like I said, the victim was one of the Debellites' high priests, a woman named Rolaine. This was 60 years ago, mind, but my grandfather tells me the locals worshipped the ground she walked on. Thought she was a prophet, or something. Aye, my Grana Cerise was Rolaine's flower bearer. Follow her like wood smoke in a windstorm. Look! The stone flash! I saw that stone flash like a torch bug. There must be a memory tucked away in here somewhere. Try to conjure it up, alright? Something's happening. Is that... It's a memory! Who is that? Glorious mercy! By the 8, what was that? A murder? Someone recorded a murder in that stone? Why would anyone do that? Wait. Could this be related to the disappearances Grandpa Lier told me about? Aye. Way Grandpa Lier tells it, in the weeks before Rolaine vanished, a handful of novitiates went missing. None of them were popular enough to raise an outcry. People said they must have just left, trying to get out from under Rolaine's shadow. Grana Cerise helped all the novitiates, cleaning linens, tending to flowers, arranging sheet music. She knew everyone. These people probably would have pinned the disappearances on her too. But the story took a dark turn after Rolaine's murder. The Debellites decided it must have been a conspiracy. The missing novitiates were all in on the plot. Now we see the truth of it. Can't be sure, but whoever murdered those novitiates might have murdered Rolaine too. We should keep investigating. Another flash. Try the stone now.
There's so much to do.
Not another one. Fate preserve me. It's so real. It's our killer again. What's he doing? Gods, what is that? Magic? Did you see those gestures? Can you repeat them? Mara's mercy! Skeletons! Are those the murdered novitiates? I think I might... Come on, Varric. Keep it together. Find anything? What have you got there? A letter? Here, let me have a look at it. Oh, and can I have my stone back? I think I've had my fill of grisly memories for now. Clara, Ariel, Edgard. Yes, these were the novitiates. This should bring their families some closure, at least. It wasn't enough that the murderer killed the novitiates. She had to steal their souls, too? How would someone even do that? Huh. I've heard of soul gems before, but not black soul gems. I thought mages just used them on rabbits and goblins and such. These black ones can suck up the souls of men and mer? Fate preserve us. The ledger said the killer traded them, right? Never heard of them. But then again, honest carpenters like me don't do much business with soul-stealing wizards. It's all academic anyway. There's no way of knowing if the trade even took place. Unless that map you found contains a clue. I never told you how Priestess Rolain died, did I? She left to visit Leowyn in her carriage, along with her flower-bearer Cerise, my grandmother. They never arrived. Maybe this map shows where they went. Let's see where it leads, eh? You're asking me? I figured you'd know. Whoever they are, I guess they like souls? The ledger said that the killer was bringing black soul gems to trade for a reward of some sort. Maybe they're part of the Waking Flame cult the killer mentioned? I wouldn't expect you to know about them. How many local cults are you familiar with? You seem so calm about all of this. So, these Waking Flame folks are still around? If our killer was one of them, that means they've been in Gideon for decades. By the 8, I hope not. I can't imagine how horrifying it would be to die, but not die. To be trapped forever in one of those black soul gems. Just thinking about it makes me feel like I want to vomit. I'm so glad I have you to protect me. Grandpa said there'd been talk about how Grana Cerise and the other junior priestesses of Dibella were greedy. When news came that Priestess Rolain had been murdered, none questioned they'd killed her. Instead, they burned Grandpa Lierre's home. I don't see how it could be anything else. Sadly, I imagine the angry people who burned down our home and chased Grandpa Lierre away are dead now, so they're beyond justice. Yet we can still clear my grandmother's name. We must, for Grandpa Lierre.
A decent haul for one day.
Look, there in the water. Could that be it? See what you can find. I'm afraid to ask, but I've got to. What did you find? Let me see. Yes! I've seen that seal too many times. See the flowers encircling the face? It's a symbol of Dibella. This is a High Priestess's signet ring. It can't be a coincidence. That skeleton is Priestess Rolain. We found her! So Priestess Rolain was transporting those? Why? Did Grana Cerise know about it? They left town together and vanished together. My grandmother's skeleton isn't here, so... By the Eight, could Priestess Rolain be the killer? Do you think... No, it couldn't have been Grana. She wasn't in Gideon when the novitiates were killed. The priestess had access to the treasury, had the ear of the people. It all makes sense, except how she died. We just... Wait. Look there! You should say hello, right? I'm right behind you. That's Grana Cerise, isn't it? She's been here in this cave all this time. Sorry for keeping you waiting. I'm sure uncovering murderous cults and meeting your grandmother's ghost is run-of-the-mill fodder for you. But for me, this is a bit much to take. I guess there was something to those dreams after all. I know. I should have told you from the start, but I didn't want to scare you off thinking I was crazy or something. It started a month or so ago. A ghostly young woman rouses me from my bed every night and stares at me. Like she wants something. I know it is. She just stared us both in the face and guided us to her remains, right? But what now? She put an end to Rolain's plot, but no one will believe me. The Germains will keep getting stepped on. They'll say I faked the whole thing. That might actually work. Keshu the Black Fin and her Argonians couldn't give two croaks about Dibella and her flock. Keshu's war mage, fire from nowhere, knows local history. He might just listen. Grana Cerise gave us the proof. Let's use it.
This is the cottage the Duchess mentioned, I think. Not all that romantic, is it? Let's look around.